Hello everyone, thank you for joining us and welcome to the Bob Simmons Show. Well, the Cowboys made their only October appearance in Lewis Field a homecoming to remember as the Cowboys remain undefeated at home with a thrilling 28-27 victory over the Iowa State Cyclones. And with me, of course, each and every week, the head coach of Oklahoma State Cowboy football, Bob Simmons. And Coach, first of all, congratulations on just a fantastic effort by the coaching staff and the team this weekend.
Thanks, Paul. It was nice. Let me just say that it was one of the sweetest victories that I've been a part of. You know, and I've been a part of comeback victories on good football teams, but when you're building, just to see a young team hang in there and fight and show a lot of character really touched me. And like you said, I thought the staff and the players did a great job.
Well, that brings to point a good question. Midway through the second quarter, just about everything that could go wrong did. We had a punt blocked, we had a fumble near midfield, a couple of big plays called back. Down 17 points, how did you keep the young players' confidence and focus in the game?
Well, you know, first of all, Paul, we wasn't playing that bad.
No, I agree.
We started off the ball game with a blocked punt, and the defense went in and held them to
just 3 points.
3 points, and the offense, if you notice, did move the football, but we were making our own mistakes, and we just talked about really hanging in there, not kicking ourselves in the foot. I think we got a little bit of momentum just before the half. We went in and we had a nice drive down, got 7 points, and really felt good about that and went in at halftime and talked about the things that we have to do to win the game. And one was we had to come out and play some defense. And unfortunately, we came out and they ended up going right down the field, but our offense responded. And when our offense went out and answered the score, our defense really started to step up their play.
Well, it was a tremendous performance and a great victory, and we'll be back to take a look at the Iowa State, Oklahoma State highlights after this timeout. Welcome back to the Bob Simmons Show. Well, their only appearance in Lewis Field in October, and it happened to be homecoming, and let's get right to those highlights. And Coach, after nearly 30 days on the road, you finally got back to the friendly confines of Lewis Field.
Well, we did, and it was a great environment. It was great to see our fans come out for homecoming and give great support, and I think our kids were fired up. And we take this first series, and really what we wanted to try to establish was the running game. Naturally, it was David versus Troy, TD versus TD, and you know, David came out, and David really was having some success running. The offensive line, even in the early part of the game, dominated up front, and you can see here David is just running through tackles.
Well, Coach, that brings up a good point. The offensive line, of course, we had an injury sustained there at left guard last week, but a patchwork group, they've really come up and done a good job of controlling the line of scrimmage as we see David Thompson going around the right side for 29-yard gain, but they've done a great job up there.
Yeah, and that's one of our keys, and it's really not so much patchwork because when we moved Josh Henson from guard to center, he always was a guard, and he's a guy that gave us the luxury to move him to left guard. He did an outstanding job. The question mark was whether Renell Levine, who's been a backup center and has been doing good doing two-a-days, could actually go into the game and do a good job. And I thought Coach Miles did a great job with him, and he came in and responded well. The other guy that responded well, as you see here, is Tony Jones, I think making the right decisions, coming off the dump pass here. And then we really stayed with our offense just before the half, and it was an easy touchdown, and then we had a lot of momentum going into the locker room.
Well, as we talked about a few moments ago, really the fumble probably stopped us from a scoring drive, but the offense came right out again and drove the length of the field and put 7 points on the board to get the momentum going into the locker room at 17-7. You know, one thing that's really impressive is this offense has 12 scoring drives of 78 yards or greater this season. They've done a wonderful job of coming out and controlling the football, and Tony Jones, as you mentioned, probably his best performance as a Cowboy.
Right, and that's what really been one of the keys to our success. Our ball control, and we've had it the early part of the season, and we've had it in this ball game. And then we asked our defense really to come in and respond. Here you see, this is where RW made a great play on stopping a reverse and happened to plant his foot in the wrong spot and is really sliding. As he tried to make a different cut, he caught his foot there. But you see our defense is really rallying around and running to the ball, and that's important.
Well, with RW out of the lineup, we have Andre back deep, and a great kickoff return here in this possession.
Right, and I think this is the beginning of really Andre coming on. He's a guy that always was back there for us. on our kick situation, and he responded well. This is key for us in the second half to come out and really establish something because we just gave up a score. We talked about going on the field now and really trying to respond to keep us within that whole 10-point frame, and our offensive line and David, as you can see here, really getting great blocking. Everybody really bought into it, the offensive line and the wide receivers.
Wide receivers,
they're
Willie
all
Grissom throwing a
man.
block downfield. He'd be a great pulling guard. Well, here we see Alonzo Mays down the middle, and unfortunately this play was called back because of an ineligible receiver. What was the
Well, the ineligible receiver was Alonzo Mays.
Oh, okay.
and really what happened is that our wide receivers have got to have a lot more poise and a lot more concentration and know how to get lined up, and that's one of the reasons that they called the playback. But, you know, because we were in such a rhythm, we came back with our offense and went right back down the field and really made key plays. Tony here throwing to I think that's Terrence, and our running game, and Andre comes in here and makes a real nice run, and we overcame that mistake, which was very important to us to get back on the board.
Well, very dominating performance, and of course Andre Richardson with 173 yards on the evening, his 6th 100-yard game as a Cowboy, and the first time in Oklahoma State history of Tailback University have we had two backs go over 150 yards in one game. But Thompson with 158 and Andre with 173, so we've got two of the best backs in the country, probably, and we're fortunate to have them on our team.
I think so. I think both those kids played well, and I really think that it really sparked our defense because our defense was up rallying and watching our offense do well, and we come in. One thing we talk about our defense is really trying to contain, force them in bad plays, and give us an opportunity to get that offense back on the field. And we went out and actually went 3 and out this time and had an opportunity to get the ball back. This is a great, this is a return that went over Andre's head. One of the things that we couldn't figure out was the wind. The ball was blowing. We thought kicking into the wind that it would come up short, but this is a key drive because we get on our 2-yard line, and the first play we just want to get some room. We come out and run a play, and then we run our bootleg here, and Tony makes a nice pass to our big tight end Alonzo Mays, and now we're out of the hole, and now we're back in good field position.
Well, great call, a 53-yard completion to Alonzo there, and we're going to see on the replay here, he's wide open by 6 or 7 yards, Coach. Is this just is this a blown coverage or just a great pattern?
No, I think it's a great pattern, and anytime you have play action back there, and David was having such great success, and we had a lot of flow up front. I think the corner got lost. Alonzo is not easy to miss.
Right.
Tony made a great throw and put us in good position, and that kept our drive alive here. And this is a good route by Terrence. Our receivers, I thought, really caught the ball well, and I think that was important. And as you can see, Tony's just picking them apart. He's making good throws. We're making good catches. We're moving the ball here. We go back to our running game, and that's Andre. Andre does a great job of running the ball here, and we come out. This is smart. This is what I like about what Tony did, is that we had a pass call, and he actually made a decision right there after they blew it because we were sprinting out all day. He says, why not walk in the end zone? And that's what he did.
Oh, that was an adjustment on his part.
That was an adjustment on his part, but it was a smart decision.
Well, it's a veteran decision by a senior quarterback. And a great night, 14 of 21, 179 yards, and the key, no interceptions. He just did an outstanding job running the show. And here we see Iowa State.
This is key for us. This is their last drive, and we really had to come up and force them into a field goal situation, keep them out of the end zone. Our defense is really fired up now. Lewis Adams making a play here. Wish we'd have blocked it, but we kept him out of the end zone. And now it gives our offense a chance. At that time, it was 7 minutes and 38 seconds left. And what we had to do was sustain the drive, and our offense did a great job. You can see here, at that time, David had got hurt, and so we really called upon not Terrence, but Andre to really step up, and you can see he really responded by making some great runs in here and really keeping that drive alive. That offensive line is blocking well. Andre's really running hard inside, making good cuts, making people miss him. and he just had an exceptional day.
Well, really a dominating performance in the second half, and this final drive is the signature of the second half. 17 plays, 73 yards, and 8 the last 7 minutes and 28 seconds off the clock, and that was just a phenomenal touchdown.
Yeah, that was, and really this is not the final drive, but this is a great run. This is a great run by. Now he fumbled that ball. He relaxed and he switched the ball, which we tell our backs don't switch the ball, but he thought that he wasn't going to get tackled. Now the smart thing he did, he went in there and got the football.
He did recover and wind up getting the score.
He did that.
Well, did he fumble it before he got across the plane?
He fumbled it before he got across because he was switching the ball. And this was important. We came down. We had a lot of momentum. That's Kenyatta Wright, our young inside linebacker, celebrating. He can't celebrate now because that's a penalty. But our defense went back on the field and really had an opportunity. They moved the ball. They got one first down here. We got them into a situation where they had to throw, and their defense is really playing hard. This is a great job by Lewis Adams here. They come up short on third down. They have to kick, and at this particular time, this is when there's 7:38 left on the clock. We went and fair caught the ball, and now we start the march.
Now we start the march, and as we mentioned a moment ago, 7 minutes and 28 seconds off of the clock. Coach, the thing that's so impressive is we had 3 punts in the football game. All 3 were in the first half. No punts in the entire second half. 336 yards of offense in the second half and 17 first downs. Just a dominating performance or exhibition of ball control in the second half. And here we see a youngster, up-and-comer, Nathan Simmons, his first carry.
And the thing about this drive, we had several third down, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, which we had his 3rd one and put another freshman in to convert that, Kevin Brown. And we converted on all our third down situations, and that was one of the things. Here we go back to running inside with Andre. Here's another 3rd and 3. We call an option play. Tony picks that up, and that was the important thing, which I think really got us victory. And here we run out the clock, man, and it's a wonderful sight.
Well, outstanding performance, and you're right, Coach. It's nice to see us kneeling and running the clock out there at the end. Tony Jones, not only a great job throwing the football, finding 6 different receivers and working them into the offense, but as you mentioned, did a great job adjusting and making reads when he ran the option and tucking the football and running with it. Yeah, that's really a weapon that he adds.
It's a weapon, and being a senior, he really stepped up to the plate and did a nice job.
We'll be back after this timeout to take a look at TD's 2-minute drill.
TD's 2-minute drill, sponsored by Farm Credit, for Ag, for Life.
Welcome back to the Bob Simmons Show. Each and every week, Tom Dorado takes us to behind the scenes to meet some of the key support personnel or players on the Oklahoma State football team. This week, coincidentally, we happen to be looking at a junior tailback. It just happened to have 179 yards of rushing this Saturday. This week, Andre Richardson.
Tony gives the ball to Richardson. Andre on the left side, inside the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Cowboys!
I've gotten used to being a backup, being in backup role, and knowing that when I step in, I have to be able to give all I have and go in and replace David, and just be in there and do the same things he can do when he's in. The coaches are trying to put it where they put the best players on the team, on the field at the same time. So we have offensive schemes where they use both me and David at the same time and put me flanked out or motion me out of the backfield. So it's worked out for the best. Well, yeah, I pride myself in having good hands and being able to, not just run the ball, but also come out of the backfield and catch it. So it's kind of like they have to defend 2 different players, me catching the ball and also running.
Richardson gets the call, goes wide, cuts up, 40, 45, 50. He's in Iowa State territory.
Before I got in, the line was clicking. David was moving the ball also, but when I got in, I just said I just have to go in and give 100% and just do the same thing David did when he was in and get yardage and help us move the ball to get a win. And the offensive line did a great job, and Tony throwing the ball to Alonzo and the receivers, that also opened up holes. So the whole offense made it better for me to move the ball. Well, we practice hard all week, and we don't want to go out and not show what we've done in practice and not go out and just be floundering around and not doing all that hard work for nothing. But it's like we prepared well, so we have to go out and play well. It's hard for a defense to just say they're in this formation, so they're going to run this play. We run a lot of different plays out, a lot of different formations, 1 back, 2 back, and 2 tailbacks in, 2 tight ends. So it's hard for a defense to defend just one person or one particular aspect of our offense. I pride myself in being a team player, if, helping others be able to go in and be able to give all they have and just keep the head up when we're down. Just go in and not worry about the score. Just go in and play and do all you can just to make the game a little bit better than it would be if you weren't giving it all you had. I think we're more together as a unit, defensively and offensively. We pick each other up, and when we're not moving the ball, the defense tells us that they're going to stop the other team so that we can have another chance. So it's like we all coming together as a unit, as a family. Since Coach Simmons has been here, he's showed us how to become more of a team. He's, during halftime, he comes in and talks to us, and he's really the one that helps us to get enthused for the game and helps us to pick ourselves up and keep our heads up for the game. He's always, trying to be there for us. Whenever we need something, he tells us to come in and talk to him. His door is always open for us. So whenever we have a problem, we can go and talk to him. So he's like a father away from home to his players.
And, Paul, he is a special player. There's not too many teams, as you know, around the country that have 2 exceptional backs. And Andre has been good this season. I think he's a guy that, as you see, has got good athleticism. He's a good athlete. And so, therefore, when you got 2 talented players like that, you got to find a place and you really got to get them on the field. And we've gotten them on the field in passing situations. And if anything happens to David, we know that when we get Andre in the ballgame, we don't miss much.
Well, Coach, the inaugural Big 12 season is well underway, and let's take a look at this week's upcoming matchups. Of course, Oklahoma State, the last road trip of the year, on the way to Missouri, and a big matchup down in Texas, Tech versus A&M.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because A&M is having a rough season, but Texas Tech also came off of a loss against Nebraska, and Kyle Field is apparently watching that K-State game is a tough place to play.
Your opinion after watching Tech, are they stronger offensively or defensively, do you think?
Well, I think Tech is really stronger defensively. I think they got a solid offense with Ham Spark, but I really think they got a pretty good football team. You see, again, Iowa State and Baylor. Baylor really coming off a loss to Oklahoma, and that Iowa State's really got some talent on that football team with Troy Davis. So we're going to find out how Baylor can do against them. And Texas and Colorado. I got to bet with somebody.
Last time you didn't do so well with that.
Well, this time I may do better, but I'm not going to tell them which team that I took.
And then Kansas we see at Nebraska, and that's certainly always a tough matchup when you have to head to Lincoln. Well, right after this, we'll be back to take a look at the Missouri Tigers on the Bob Simmons Show. Welcome back to the Bob Simmons Show. Well, this Saturday, the Cowboys take their 4-3 record on the road for their final road trip of the year, this time to Faro Field, and face the Missouri Tigers. And, Coach, what about a little game plan insight against the Tigers?
Well, I tell you, Missouri is a much improved football team. Their record don't show it, but they're a team that's playing much better this year. They're a 2-quarterback system. They got number 18, Kent Scornia, and number 7, Corby Jones, and they've moved the ball on everybody that they've played so far. And so what we got to do is really go in there and be sound. Corby's going to run the option. Their defense is a team that really flies around, as you can see here. They play at 8 and 9-man front. They come out and they actually throw the ball a little bit more with Kent Scornia being in there, and so we have to defend both quarterbacks, Corby and Kent, and really got to have a sound offensive game plan against their aggressive defense.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck this week at Missouri. Folks, I'd like to make a special announcement. Oklahoma State this year will be having its first annual Hall of Honors banquet. It'll be Friday, November the 1st at 7:30 p.m. at the Cowboy Hall of Fame in Oklahoma City. This year's inductees will be Labron Harris, Henry Iba, Barry Sanders, Bob Fenimore, Ed Gallagher, Allie Reynolds, John Smith, and Bob Curlin. You will want to be a part of it. And folks, we thank you for joining us again this week on the Bob Simmons Show, and we look forward to seeing you again next week as we take a look at Oklahoma State and Missouri on the next Bob Simmons Show.